Hello everyone, Golden Nova here, and it is time for another monthly custom card patron review where I bring all of my patrons' coolest ideas and show them off to all of you. We're going to get started here in just a bit with Xenomaru making cards for a character that is either famous or infamous depending on who you ask. And let's see, Xenomaru, how's it going?
Going good.
All right.
I'm just gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want my friends interested in this, so either you'll be getting another Patreon once he gets a job, or I'll have to reschedule one of my showcases of this archetype just so he can help him slip his in.
Oh, that'd be cool. Alrighty, so I am seeing a character that I know mostly because I'm a big Bumbles McFumbles fan. Makes a point to talk about this weird long guy every year. Can you walk us a little bit about who these cards are based on, Zeno?
Overall, this entire archetype, this is only a part of the archetype actually. Also, apparently they can't hear me.
Yeah, I just boosted the audio. I forgot, but that should be good now.
Yeah, this is only like a part of the archetype. I split it up into like 4 months worth, counting this one of custom card showcases.
Yeah, so this is just part one of a continuing series of goofballs.
Yeah, this is basically the core set. Essentially, you'll want to run these no matter. You'll want to run all these, except maybe the extra deck one, no matter what.
Okay, all right. All right. So, do you have any other notes about it, or do you want me to go ahead and start talking about these weirdos?
Start talking about this first. I can help with clarification as needed.
All right, sounds good. We are starting with Balin, the Wonderworld Playwright, a level 3 light spellcaster Gemini monster with 1,000 attack and 0 defense. It looks like it has all the usual Gemini text on here. Is that correct, or are there any special twists on it?
That's all the error. The
Okay.
main thing is that, well, all of the monsters in the main deck are Gemini.
That's good, that's good. Okay, once per turn, you can remove one Wonder counter from a card you control, and if you do, activate one of the following effects. Either add a Wonderworld Gemini monster from your deck to your hand, or special summon a Wonderworld Gemini monster from your hand. Okay, so you can either search to hand or summon from hand, and you can do that once per turn.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty neat. Of course, it does take the extra normal summon to actually get it there, but with the ability to cycle cards out, I think that sounds like a sound investment.
Yeah. And you'll see that extra normal summons may not actually be much of a restriction on this deck once you get into later cards in this showcase in particular.
Alrighty. Then next we have Lance, the Wonderworld Maestro, also a Gemini. Has all the same stats as Balin. I wonder why that would be. This card becomes a Dark Attribute. This card can be treated as a tuner monster for the Synchro Summon of a Dark Attribute Wonderworld Synchro Monster. And once per turn, you can remove a Wonder counter from a card you control. And if you do, special summon a Corruption token in defense position, which is a level 1 Dark Fiend with 0 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can fusion summon a Dark Wonderworld Fusion monster from your extra deck using cards you control as material. Okay, so it's not full polymerization. You have to control them, but it does. It gives you fusion and synchro access. That's pretty neat.
Well, the thing is, this is the deck's way of accessing their extra deck monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Also, note it gives you the dark material you'll need.
Oh, well, I haven't seen the extra deck, so I have no clue.
Yeah, all the extra deck monsters will require a dark material.
So Lance fits right in.
Yes, and also the corruption tokens he creates.
Alrighty. Next up, we have Emma, the Wonderworld Star, level 3 light warrior Gemini monster with 1,000 attack and 0 defense. Once per turn, you can remove a Wonder counter from a card you control, and if you do, add a Wonderworld trap card or monster card from your grave to your hand. Alright, so good recycling stuff here. Leo, the Wonderworld Star, a level 3 light warrior Gemini monster, 1,000 attack, 0 defense. Once per turn, you can remove a Wonder counter from a card you control, and if you do, add a Wonderworld spell card or monster card from your grave to your hand. Okay, so both of those are kind of just making sure you have the cards you need, but both do monsters, so you can get all the material you want for your big summons. I respect that. That's good.
Yes, those are actually both the player characters, so I made them counterparts of each other essentially.
Oh, that's good. That makes sense. That's some nifty design. Okay, Wonderworld stage. I'm hoping that this is where we start getting the counters because we haven't seen any so far.
Yep.
If you normal or special summon one or more light attribute Wonderworld monsters, you can place a Wonder counter on this card, maximum of 12. Okay, there we go. You can remove a Wonder counter from this card, and if you do, target a light attribute Wonderworld normal monster you control and normal summon it again. Oh, okay, that's cool. So you have the field spell, you normal summon any of them, you get a counter, and then you can immediately spend that counter to make them an effect monster.
Yes.
Okay, that's savage. Let's see. Wonderworld Gate of Joy, continuous spell card. You can only control one. Once per turn, you can place one Wonder counter on this card. Okay, so we have another way of generating Wonder counters. Once per turn, if you normal or special summon a Wonderworld Gemini monster, you can add a Wonderworld trap card from your deck to your hand. Nifty. And that is the next one, it looks like. Wonderworld Gate of Sorrow. You can only control one copy. You may activate this card from your hand. All right, we're just playing trap cards. It's just that easy, folks. Once per turn, you can place a Wonder counter on this card, and once per turn, if you normal or special summon a Wonderworld Gemini monster, you can add a Wonderworld spell card. Okay, so Joy gets Sorrow, but Sorrow can get Joy or Stage. That seems pretty nifty.
There's other spell and trap cards in later showcases.
Okay, yeah, so we'll be building upon this as we explore the rest of the archetype.
Yes, this is the foundation, if you will.
Alrighty, and lastly, we have our Synchro Monster Lance, the Wonderworld Corruptor, a level 12 Dark Spellcaster Synchro Monster with 4,400 attack and 1,300 defense, requiring Maestro and a Wonderworld Effect Monster.
Well, one or more.
One or more, okay. Now the...
One plus, one or more?
Yeah, one or more Wonderworld Effect Monsters. Now that doesn't factor in the corruption token, so we're not using it for that summon.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay. This card is also a fusion monster, and you may fusion summon this card by sending the above effect monsters from your field to the grave. You don't use polymerization. Huh. The opponent can't activate card effects in response to the effects of any Wonderworld card you control. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you may banish a Wonderworld star monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. If you do, special summon a big ol' burp. Special summon a Wonderworld monster from the extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions, but return to the extra deck during your next end phase. If you have 12 or more Wonderworld star monsters with different names banished, you win the duel. Okay. That's big. It doesn't have, like, removal, but it does keep summoning, getting you your other cards, while setting up an auto-win condition with what I assume will be future Wonderworld star monsters.
Yes, in total, counting Emma and Leo, there are 14 different Wonderworld stars.
But we only need 12 to get the auto-win.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we can use... We don't even have to sync for this, because that would require, what? Three other level 3 monsters? Yeah, Wonderworld effect monsters. But we can just fusion summon it, so we don't have to worry about meeting the synchro requirements, so that's pretty funny.
By the way, as a little heads up, the main deck monsters, their levels vary from 1 to 6.
Oh, okay, so we can see a mix-up on what we're using as material here. Okay.
Yes.
Now, my question is, why would we use multiple material for this card if we only need to use 2?
Well, getting more Wonderworld stars into the grave to fuel the effect.
True, but you are able to use your hand or field as well. That's what I'm seeing here, right?
Yes.
So we don't need to have them in the graveyard. They can just be used from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Point being, though, you might want on to because certain things might actually be better in the graveyard. You might find that out in later months.
True. True. Okay. So getting a handle back on Lance, trying to just really wrap my head around this. Bare minimum, not talking about any additional bonuses, for 2 on-theme monsters, including Lance, we get a 4,400 attack beater that itself can trade in your stars for other Wonderworld extra deck monsters as a quick effect.
Yes, that's because the extra deck is meant to be basically have their effects go off on your opponent's turn because of a restriction that goes off on their effects.
Oh, all right. Okay. That's pretty neat. Um and then it magical meltdowns all of your Wonderworld effects. So you're gonna get your searches from Joy and Sorrow. You're gonna get your recoveries from Leo and Emma. That's kind of spooky, especially since this is only the opening act of the Wonderworld.
Yeah, keep in mind, Corruptor is the absolute boss monster. It's the biggest of the extra deck.
Yeah, I can see how a lot of stuff would revolve around Corruptor Lance to do stuff. That's pretty gnarly.
Oh yeah, Corruptor, that's Lance's true form.
Well, okay then. Okay, so are there any other notes that you wanted to get across that we haven't touched on, or is it time for that Nova scale?
I think this would be time for a Nova scale. Just keep these cards in mind during the next months.
Sounds good.
Also, for once, it's not a massive bunch of cards at once.
Yes, we're able to dig into individual cards a lot better now than having to talk about 30 cards. Okay, so novelty. It's a Gemini archetype, so that's already big ups. I know that we recently tried to make Geminis happen with the new Fire Warrior stuff, but they abandoned that train almost immediately. So I think that we can count Gemini as being pretty novel. Um, Other than that, so far our effects are really just recurring other cards and cheating out our summons. So our game plan right now isn't too vastly dissimilar, which will of course change as we see other extensions of this archetype in the coming months. For now, I'm going to give its novelty a 3. Having a Gemini deck is already by itself pretty out there. Objectivity. Are these cards balanced? Now I look at Lance.
Which one, Maestro or Corruptor?
I look at Corruptor Lance, and I see a very powerful boss monster that requires minimum investment. By itself, though, I wouldn't call that broken yet. It's big, but we can make big monsters now with minimum investment. Its power level is going to change depending on what Wonderworld extra deck monsters we have access to in the future. But for now, the effect doesn't do anything. It's just a big dude with no protection. So aside from that, everything else is all about just like getting material back. So having a good recycling engine isn't broken. It's just invoked. So I gotta give it a 4 on objectivity. It's not too bad. Versatility. I think a 2 is warranted on this one. It'll work with a lot of normal support and Gemini support. And I guess it also kind of works with light stuff since stage only. Oh no, it does a light attribute Wonderworld monster, so we can't splash it with lights.
Keep in mind, versatility might rise as things are shown.
Oh yeah, and as we see the other sets, we'll definitely be adjusting that. For now, this only seems to have synergy with, like, maybe some warrior, some spellcaster stuff, Gemini stuff, and normal cards in particular. Swing of Memory about to go brazy with this. But I think right now we're kind of at a 2. Partly because the Gemini support pool is so low. Awesomeness, I'll give it a 4. for a lot of potential in the future that I'm seeing here. Things can get absolutely nutty when we start cheating out extra deck monsters. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next chapter of the Wonderworlds will be. So I'm kind of excited to see what you've got going on here, Zeno.
Yeah, by the way, if you want a hint as to what some of the cards might look like in the main deck, have a look at the card art of Gate of Joy.
Looks like a lot of happy peeps in there.
Yeah, all those people have an equivalent monster in the main deck.
Yo, it's Farmer Guy. It's Farmer Guy. I've seen a
So
little
it may not
down.
be obvious at first glance for some of them.
Alrighty. So, all in all, I'm giving this a total of the 13 out of 20 on the Nova scale for the stage Act 1, let's call it, of the Wonderworld archetype.
Yeah.
All right, any closing thoughts or anything else you want to say to the audience before we're finished here?
Nothing too much. Hope you all have a wonderful day.
A Wonderworld full day?
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm honestly trying to hold back on the puns for this first act.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens when you've unleashed your power next month. All right, take care. Have a good one, all right?
See you then.
Alrighty. Well, that's a pretty nifty... This is a pretty nifty set of cards. The Balan artwork is really cool. Say what you want about the game, but this stuff looks like... This Corruptor's design is just... Mwah. Do we go to guest comms? Yes. Let me go ahead and step out of guest comms real quickly, because I need to catch up on some stuff that happened while we were doing our review / Spears in 6. If you're still here, thank you so much for following. I appreciate your patience. I had to get that review part out of the way. Thank you so much. And Red Eyes Jackalow. Ugh. Man, I drink soda. I get burpy. There was a Tri-Horned Dragon request. We got to get that done. Jackalow paid 1,000 channel points to have Tri-Horned Dragon say, Nova, when are you going to release the Tri-Horned Dragon Explain video? I'm waiting! What do you want me to do about it? There's one card that you're in. There's not even any art that you're in. We just gotta wait for them to bring out a proper Tri-Horned archetype. And first thing, once we get all the cards, that's the first video I'm working on. Okay. Folks, if he doesn't make the Tri-Horned Dragon Explained episode, you know what to do. What are you telling them? Nothing, bye! Good kid. Good kid. The murder I could do with less of, but otherwise good kid. Random Pup, thank you so much for subscribing at Tier 1. I super appreciate you helping the Orbital platform going. Thank you so much. Yeah, viewer rules not today. We're getting back into the swing of things with custom card. Once the new week rolls over, we'll try to get back into the swing of things. At least insofar as I can. I don't know if anyone's been checking Twitter, but my, it's not currently, like, dire. I'm not, like, going out of house and home now, but we have been given the deadline from the landlord to move locations, so I might have to randomly drop stuff to go do house hunting / moving stuff. So I'll try to keep stream schedule as stable as I can, but obviously things like having a roof over my head will have to take precedence. So sorry about the instability on Twitch here. I will try to do better. I will fail again, though. Alrighty. Now that we've talked about my life a bit too much... Yep, we must guillotine your landlord. For legal purposes, I am not encouraging any kind of action, physically harmful or otherwise, to be done to the person who runs this property. Anyway, let's head back and let's go talk to Warthog here about their custom cards. Let me check my list here. Let me go ahead and... They're also in Dueling Book. Hello there.
Hello. So, I'm not feeling the best, so I will mute myself somewhat randomly.
Oh no.
Yeah, the perks and drawbacks of moving house. Also, there might
Oh
be an
gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, would you be able to boost the gain on your end? I know I'm having problems hearing it. I'm sure everyone else is having an issue with it right now.
Well, I don't know, to be honest, because these headphones are loaned to me for this stream.
Ah, you love to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, get real close to your mics. Plug your earbuds real deep into your skulls for this one, all right? So, Warthog, I saw your request to not look at your cards. I have followed this to the letter. We are still looking at the previous submission. I am about to close this tab, and whatever is here is apparently gonna blow my mind.
Well, there isn't any art, but unfortunately, I feel like my thunder has been stripped from me because of the first thing that's been shown already.
Okay, all right. Let's go. Konla, son of Kuh, is whoa, Gemini's.
Yeah.
and there's Kuh Hulen and Emblem of the Awakening. Okay, all right. Let's do this. Let's do some Kuh Hulen support. Let's go.
So, would you like a rundown similar to your own videos on a through line through most of the archetype?
Oh, please go ahead.
So, majority of the archetype are light Gemini monsters, minus 2 of them who are dark Geminis. The light Gemini all have the effect of regular Geminis, that when they're summoned and on the field, they are normal monsters until you summon them again. But all the light ones also have additional effects in the hand where you can discard them for bonus effects.
Oh.
The dark ones all have the thing of that you can't discard them, they don't have any effects like that, but they have about 3 effects on field.
Alright, so we've taken a lot of design cues from Necros to make the Geminis a bit less bricky, it sounds like.
Huh, I didn't realize that, but alright, I'll go with it.
Hey, no, I mean, that's a great way to solve it. Especially because it doesn't make them normal monsters in the hand for some reason. I'm not mad.
So I thought of taking advantage of that.
Well, I think that's a good design space to work with. Is there anything else we want to mention before I move on to Konla?
So, fun thing, as far as I can tell, there's 2 ways to pronounce his name. And so I like to call the little one Kuh Hulen, and the bigger one Kuh Hulen.
Cullen. Oh, now I can't remember the way I was saying it just now. Kuh Hulen?
Yeah, you were pronouncing it weirdly, forgetting the L.
Where did I get it from? Was it people trying to pronounce it for the Final Fantasy 12 Kuh Hulen? I think that was.
Oh, probably Fate, because they've butchered him, from what I can tell.
Wow, already. Okay, so run the name one more time. Kuh Hulen?
Kuh Hulen for small, and Kuh Hulen for big.
Kuh Hulen. Okay, I will do my best to internalize this.
Cool, because I know it because of a song. So,
Oh.
yeah.
I will take that as the higher authority on this. Let's get started with Konla, son of Kuh, a level 4 light warrior Gemini monster with 1,000 attack and defense. Usual Gemini stuff. Once per turn, you contribute this card to target a ritual or Gemini monster you control, and it can make it a second attack during each battle phase of this turn. During your turn as a quick effect, you can discard this card to add a Kuh ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you added a card by this effect, you may add an awakening ritual spell from your deck to your hand, then skip your next standby phase. Oh, is that supposed to, like, keep the attack boost on Awakened?
Yup.
You sly waffle. How dare you? That's so cool.
It's a lot better than running Solomon's Law Book, which is just a normal job with the only effect of skipping your next standby phase.
That's amazing. Alrighty, let's go ahead and check Emmer, Bride of Kuh. Ritual and Gemini monsters you control. Once they're an effect monster, Ritual and Gemini monsters you control cannot be removed from the field by your opponent's card effects, except this card. Ooh, that's funky. And during the main phase, you can discard this card to special summon a light Gemini monster from your deck to the field in defense position. Then skip your next standby phase, and you can't special summon other monsters when you use this effect, except Rituals and Gemini monsters. Alright, yeah, removed from the field is some design territory that we haven't really settled on, so that's pretty cool.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that it's like, I covered all my bases, you could still kaiju them, but they are still bastards to get rid of.
Makes sense, yeah, because it's effect, but not the rules stuff.
Yeah. There's also, like, so there's a couple stories involving Kuh Hulen, because he's a figure from Irish mythology, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried my damnedest to make sure that their effects lined up with how they appeared in story. Like, you saw the sun, how he gets tributed. That's because...
Oh, this isn't going to go well, I can tell.
Kuh Hulen kills him.
Cool!
Because the kid won't answer a dang question of, what's your name?
Well, if they had had the card on hand, maybe things would have gone differently.
And the bride is, because I didn't know what else to call her, of just, she's the wife, but also never actually got married to him, because he kept going off to war.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, like, one of the reasons he just didn't die.
By some, like, magical means, or was Kuh just that motivated to get back home?
Motivated, and also she kept her father from killing him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would... I suppose when Kuh killed their own son, that was fine, but son-in-law's off the table.
Actually, at the point, that hadn't happened yet.
Uh-huh.
These are not in chronological order.
Well, that's even funnier, because now Kuh's been spared the fate of being slain by an in-law, and then it's like, well, I'm not passing this along.
Well, okay, to not dwell on it too much, but
look, I'm not gonna do a whole audit on Irish mythology. I'm just gonna say my little silly stuff, and then people can get mad at me for misunderstanding things.
Yes, so I'll just cut off the point right now. Just so the son and the bride, they are not related. The only relation they have is Kuh. He's the son of a different person.
Yes.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Okay, I'll need some help with this one. Scathic?
Oh, I don't even know how to pronounce these.
All right.
I watched a really sarcastic video to learn about this.
Irish mythology majors, get in the comments. Teacher of Kuh is a level 4 warrior Gemini with 2,000 attack, 0 defense, usual Gemini attributes. Once they're an effect monster once per turn, you can return one of your banished cards that mentions Kuh in its text or has Kuh in its name to your hand. Then summon to your opponent's field an Ife token, which is a dark level 4 warrior with 2,000 attack and 0 defense in attack position. And during your main phase, you may discard this card to add a Kuh ritual monster and a Kuh Gemini monster to your hand, then skip your next standby phase. All right, so I'm
about them.
Assuming that we'll have some synergy with beating up our opponent's token.
So they're the teacher of both Kuh Hulen and another card you will see called the Battle Brother. And so I represented that in their effect that you discard them to get their 2 students.
Okay.
But a thing is that their evil twin shows up to try to kill them, and they're evenly matched, and Kuh has to be the one to stop them.
Ooh.
And so that's what the token is. Their evil twin.
Alrighty. Beluga Master, thank you so much for subscribing at Tier 1 for the 15th month. Beluga, just props to you. Alrighty. Ferdiad, Battle Brother of the Kuh. Level 8, Light Warrior Gemini Monster, 2,000 attack, 2,000 defense. Once they're an effect monster during your turn, you may give control of this card to your opponent, and if you do, this card is treated as a dark monster, and add 1 spell or trap card that mentions Kuh in its text. I assume from your deck.
Dang it. Okay. Yeah. From deck to hand.
Okay.
Got that
And
one part.
it's sometimes it just like you say you get to add the card, and then everything else is all like, well, I've done my job.
Yup.
You got the card. What else do you want from me? And during your main phase, you can discard this card to special summon a Gemini monster from your hand or that is banished, then skip your next standby phase. Ooh, I like that synergy. We can get a big old boost from our monster and then to give it to Kuh Hulen and then just get it right back.
Wait, what?
Because we're banishing our monsters with Kuh.
Oh, yeah, but to discard him, something already has to be banished.
Oh yeah, for sure. So once we've done the banishing for Kuh, then later on we just get to bring it back with Ferdiad.
Yup.
Sick. Alrighty, then Kuh the Old Hound. Oh, okay, now is that literal? Is it a dogi or is it like a grizzled battle name?
So, Kuh means hound.
Oh.
And so a fun way to translate this entire deck is that, like, Bride of the Hound, Son of the Hound. The Hound, the Old Hound, is where Kuh got his name from. He killed a guard dog, and then to make up for it, he became that person's guard dog.
Well, that's one way to pay back a debt.
It is a literal dog because of also the beast typing.
Oh, you know what? That scans.
But also, when you say the stats, I want to see if you can see what the stats are even meant to reference, because they're supposed to actually reference something.
Okay. So, it's a level 8 Dark Beast, 2000 attack, 1200 defense. That's close to being Monarch stats, but it's not.
I'll let you guess after you read the effect.
Okay, reading the effect. Okay. So, once it becomes an effect monster, it gets a bunch of effects, as you said. It gives control of this card. Okay, so you give it to your opponent. The control of this card cannot summon from the extra deck. If a ritual monster attacks, the owner of this card may choose to shuffle every monster their opponent controls into their owner's deck.
So trying to make an effect that works on either side of the field, but mainly the opponent's, is really hard to come up with wording for.
Alrighty. So, reference time. The only thing I can think of is, like, Behemoth, King of Animals or something?
So it's a reference to another card in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Uh-huh.
Just level 8, Dark, 2800 attack, 1200 defense. Who shares those stats?
Oh. Okay, if it's not the dark, we have to match the dark part too, right?
Last I checked, yeah.
Okay, so it's not Barbaros, because Barbaros is Earth. It's a dark. I hear Dark Beast, and all I can think of is like Dark Tapir or Dark Death Tapir.
So I just looked up the card. I messed up. Okay, it's not a dark, it's a light.
It's a light monster with these stats. A light beast.
Okay, you want me to just spoil it?
Yeah, I think I need it. Yeah, I can't think of one.
Because apparently I messed it up too hard. So to make some of these cards, I get actual cards that I own to do test hands with to see what they are. So I try to make their stats as close to them as possible. And for the Hound, it felt most what's the word? It felt appropriate to have a traitor-like card be the representation of it, of Spiral Sleeper.
Oh, okay.
Because in my opinion, Sleeper should have been a card that you send to your opponent's field. He goes from your deck to the opponent's because he's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, no, that would have been a lot more thematically resonant if they had done that.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I think I can see what we would do here. Like to do the give control of this card to your opponent, you would like add like the activation clause of if this card is normal summoned. That way it's not just constantly pinging back and forth between you and your opponent.
Yeah. I'm not good with cards that can swap to the opponent's field, other than just its effect just does it outright, and it's like, I didn't know how to word it, and so I thought it's like, if I just put a period at the end, the effect triggers once, and it goes to the opponent's field, and then it's done. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a card designer for a reason.
Hey, and you know what? Hopefully, once again, things like this just give you like some more knowledge to go forward and make stuff even better. Other than that, other than just adding the if this card is normal summoned, this card seems fine. And then like the way you made sure to check the if a ritual monster attacks, the owner of this card gets to choose to use the effect. That was solid. That was correct. But yeah, so we just give this to our opponent. We make a Kuh Hulen, and then we just wipe their board when we attack.
Yeah,
Sick.
because right after he killed like the Hound, I think if I remember correctly, he also kills an entire mead hall of people.
Oh, okay, all right. Bully for them, I guess. Great solo XP. Alrighty.
So I see someone's trying to say that Gemini effects can't be activated on summon. The newest Gemini monster has one of their effects activated on summon.
Yeah, there's several newer examples of Geminis that do stuff like that. Like the I forget the Evocator Shek or something, not Chevalier, but the new Evocator has a if this card is normal or special summoned. I think the new Gold Knight also has it, so that would be how you would function that.
Gold Knight is the only Gemini monster that mentions being normal or special summoned.
Oh, well, okay then. My point stands. All right. Next up, we have Mebd.
Whatever you pronounce is fine. It's an Irish name. No one can pronounce it.
Witch against the Kuh. Level 8 spellcaster, 15 attack, 3000 defense. If this becomes an effect monster, give control of this card to your opponent. The player who controls this cannot summon monsters from the extra deck and cannot use effects of monsters originally from the extra deck. Okay. If this card battles a ritual monster, the controller of this card takes damage equal to that ritual monster's current attack before damage calculation. All right. So Hound is about removing cards, but Mebd actually deals life point damage. That's pretty sick.
Deals life point damage and is like, what's the word I'm looking for? Dogmatica's worst nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, this doesn't check the field, does it? So it ruins like graveyard effects like Titanclad, doesn't it?
Yup.
Oh! Oh! Heinous behavior. All right, let's check out the new Wrapped Kuh Hulen Spasm of the Awakened. Level 8 light Beast Warrior ritual monster. This card, ritual summon with Wrapped Awakening. Once per turn, you can banish a normal monster from your graveyard. This card gains attack equal to double the attack of the banished monster. Then during your next standby phase, banish this card face down. This card gains 1 additional attack each battle phase for each of your banished Gemini monsters. Holy Toledo!
Dang it, did I misspell something? Because it's supposed to be warped.
Yeah, the R and the A are,
Dang it. Presume it says warped.
Okay, so it's the Warped Awakening. Okay. Alright, so that covers that part of the name that I was curious about. The word choice of spasm. Let's talk about that for a second.
So, it's in reference to a kind of special thing Kuh Hulen could do in his stories called the warp spasm, where his skin peels out and he goes kind of inside out and gains like a giant arm and just goes freaking nuts.
All right.
Think the Hulk, but more fleshy.
And the Hulk is already pretty fleshy to my understanding.
Well, flip the
So this
flesh.
is more than that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Fury of the Awakened, a normal spell card that discards a card to activate one of these effects. Either special summon a Dark Gemini monster from your deck, then you can add a Kuh ritual monster or a ritual spell that mentions Kuh in its text to your hand. Or special summon a Light Gemini monster from your deck and treat it as if it was an effect monster and it gains its effects. You can only activate Fury once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. Are we bringing fusions into this?
No, it's because the only good Gemini support monster I know of is
Oh.
a fusion monster, so I don't want to block people from doing that.
You know what? That's some good thinking. That's some good thinking. Don't we have another lock though?
Yeah, there's
Emmer.
there's a bunch of locks.
Okay, so if we ever use Emmer, we can't do that. But you know what? I guess get Raptinus out earlier. I guess.
Eh.
All right, Battlefield of the Awakened field spell card. Kuh ritual monsters cannot be destroyed in battle once per turn. Once per turn during main phase 1, the turn player can reveal a ritual monster in hand to apply this effect. Until the end of the turn, the opponent cannot activate card effects from the hand or grave during the rest of main phase 1 and the battle phase, and during the end phase, if the player that activated this effect doesn't control a ritual monster, banish this card and all cards in their graveyard. A harumph. So gives some battle protection.
Which was put in at the last minute because it's like, oh crap, this doesn't mention Kuh in its text.
Oh, okay, yeah, we had to add that for search capabilities.
Yep. And I wanted it to be a proper field spell, one that can be used by both players.
Oh, wow. So for in the mirror match.
Well, not just mirror match, but just if you're fighting another ritual deck, it makes it a little bit fair, but also shuts down Necroz in a weird sense. Because the point of it is to stop battle tricks from the hand and grave. If you want battle tricks, you have to set those, and they have to be on the field.
Yeah, none of this trickery, none of your strange magics is going to be on the battlefield, or it's not going to be here at all.
Yup.
Okay, all right. Next we have Warped Awakening. Ritual summon any Kuh ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the levels of the ritual monster you ritual summon. Okay, so it doesn't have to be exact. That's neat. If a Kuh ritual monster you control would be removed from the field by an opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to negate that effect and banish that card. All right. Yeah, summons any of our rituals, gives us removal protection. Not a bad ritual spell.
Can you tell what I've been scarred by?
You know what? I'm thinking. I have a vision here. I'm thinking in the future. There's something along the lines of a super polymerization. Maybe a monster that has that as an effect.
Well, that and also Mirror Force.
Okay, yeah, Mirror Force will also be a kind of an asshole move. Okay, Guy Bolg, Spear of Kuh, normal trap card during the battle phase. If you control at least one Kuh ritual monster, you can make one monster your opponent controls attack become 0. Then your opponent can choose to add this card to your hand instead of it going to the graveyard. But if they don't, that monster can't be destroyed in battle this turn and is sent to the graveyard at the end of the battle phase. Huh. So you attack something
over and over again.
You Guy Bolg it. And if they have the Guy Bolg go to the graveyard, the monster that you punch sticks around so it can be punched by more things.
Or just the same guy over and over again, like the big level 8 ritual monster.
Yeah, just hit the same guy over and over again. And then it will eventually go to the graveyard. So you have your opponent So your opponent is incentivized to give you back Guy Bolg so that the monster just dies and they can't exploit it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Incredible. Holy cow.
And in my opinion, this is one of the better references to the actual weapon of Guy Bolg.
Oh?
Because, Kuh Hulen in the story uses it about 4 times. 3 of those times he uses it, he just disarms people with it. But then the final time he has to use it, by the way, the thing has a gnarly head. It just looks like a bunch of spikes. You launch it from the foot to your intended target, which he fired it at Ferdiad. It landed in Ferdiad, got absorbed into him, and then he kind of, bloomed a bunch of spikes from his veins and became just a sticker bush of blood and iron.
All right. That's certainly a way to go.
And he kind of stuck there on the battlefield until the battle was over, which is how I see the spear doing it.
Yeah, no, that you have taken mechanics and have reflected the legend in what I feel is a pretty appropriate way.
Yes, that's my goal.
Conga Line Larry, holy smokes, Fallen of Albaz streams on Twitch now? I know, it's wild. Don't watch for too long, I might absorb your bitrate. Alright, last card is Clochfirmor of the Awakened. Continuous trap card. Activate this by targeting a ritual monster you control. While this card is face up on the field, that monster cannot be tributed and cannot be removed from the field by a card effect, and your opponent must attack it if able. The first time your opponent declares an attack, you can destroy that monster, and your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's attack while it was on the field. If this card is removed from the field, destroy that ritual monster, but if your opponent did not attack this turn, this must banish all cards in their hand. Huh.
I didn't know how to word that last part.
Okay. So, you activate this, you put it on a ritual monster.
Mm-hmm.
You can't kaiju it.
Yup.
And you're not removing it off the field, so no compulse, no torrential tributes, no mirror forces, you're not getting fused away, none of that. It's sticking on the board.
You have to fight it.
You have to fight it. And then it forces your opponent, so it's an all-out attack orders on that monster. So they have to attack it. The first time they attack with something, the monster just automatically blows itself up and burns them. So it's a mini Golden Castle of Stromberg, but just for that attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if your opponent removes Fearmore without having destroyed the ritual monster in battle, or having declared an attack, I guess, they lose all the cards in their hand.
Yup.
Jesus.
It's in reference to the last stand of Kuh Hulen. In fact, that long as hell word just means standing stone. Of where he was presumed dead, and he tied himself to a standing stone and held his sword up using his belts. And people thought he was dead until a raven came down on his arm. Or they didn't think he was dead until a raven came down. And so someone just went up and tried to slice off his head, and his sword fell down and cut off their hand. And then they started pelting him with spears from afar, so that way he could not strike their hands down.
That's wild. Hey, everyone, I died, but I still got a positive KDA. I'm still racking them up, baby.
Yup.
Man, Cullen is just bringing it in for Ireland. Just, you know, if we had another Record of Ragnarok Season 2, we definitely got to bring Cullen in on this one. We ain't letting this guy just going out on this legend. We got to bring it back for round 2. Okay, well, these are some absolutely savage cards. Do we have anything you would like to add? Or is it time for the Nova scale?
Fate did horrible on this guy, from what I've heard. That's it.
You said you've done horrible?
Fate did horrible on him.
Oh,
his warp
Fate.
spasm is just him with like red armor and red eyes. Ooh, so scary.
I'm scared. Oh, not like fate as in the ineffable force that guides all of our destinies, like the show Fate.
The show Fate. Yeah.
Wait 1 second. Fate. Oh, I've seen him before. I've seen this guy.
Yeah. He's pathetic.
He just looks like a guy.
Exactly, which is not Kuh Hulen. Oh, also, fun fact, Kuh Hulen was 17 when he died.
Man, now I feel old.
Well, I'd also like to put you to the name of the first card on the list.
Yeah, they were, it was a different time.
Yep.
Also, before
right.
I get going, I do have to share this one picture that I looked up while I was trying to look at this little goofus. Can't show it off on stream right now. This little guy. This little.
Ugh.
Okay. All right, let's Nova scale this. So.
Novelty's down because you already saw a Gemini archetype today.
I don't count other people's custom cards. It's not like you could have ever been inspired by, unless you're like all going in like a group chat that I can't see where you're sharing ideas.
We call it the sub-platform.
Yeah. So novelty is gonna be, so we have our Geminis, but we're also not doing just like a bunch of resource, not just doing a bunch of resource recursion. It's Gemini ritual cards based on a scrungly little ritual monster that was introduced long, long ago.
2007.
2007. So, yeah, not exactly the kind of card design that we see nowadays. So I'm going to give it a 4. It is technically based on something, but the things that we're doing with it are just so far and away what we're usually about. So, yeah, I'm giving that a 4.
Yeah, and you still use the regular ritual monster.
And you still use regular ritual. We haven't power creeped him out. Objectivity. So, like we were talking about, there are some dalliances with the problem-solving card text that would need to be fixed. But outside of that, our balancing seems pretty good. The giving our opponent a monster and then getting huge advantages off of it is pretty strong. But we're also balancing that with a bunch of restrictions, like Emerald is already keeping us off of anything that's not a ritual or a Gemini monster. One of the other cards, I forget which one it was, is keeping us off of keeping us onto only fusion monsters. So I can't say that this card it's busted. I'm giving it a 4 on objectivity. I think it's a fairly good archetype that just needs a little bit of polishing when it comes to its text. Real quick, JJPM, thank you so much for rating in with your viewers. Thank you for trusting me with all of your people. JJPM viewers, for those of you who don't know, I'm Golden Nova Yu-Gi-Oh! And today, this weekend, really, we are doing custom card reviews for all of my patrons. So I hope you'll stick around and enjoy everyone's creative process. We're actually just doing the review for Warthog Crusaders, and now we're going on to Versatility. Now, we have access to all the Gemini support here. I think a funny one that I was thinking of with Fury of the Awakened is that we could actually tech in Chemicritters, because we could use the Dark Gemini summon to get Diox Ogre, which I think is pretty funny. If we don't lock ourselves, we can access like the Vola Chemicritter Xyz monster and go absolutely ham with that.
Yeah. I realized that when I made Fury of the Awakened. That's why it's like, there's the little restrictions, so you're not just doing, oh, let's go into Link Summoning, let's go into Synchro, let's go into XYZ. Do the thing the archetype asks you to do.
That is true, that is true. So if we use it that specifically, we're not going into it immediately.
Yeah.
But I would still be an asshole and try to make it work. That being said, I think our versatility gets to be, because we can use all of our regular ritual stuff too on top of all of this. I think a 3 is warranted on this one. And then awesomeness, I'm putting a 5 on this one. We're taking an old ass card that's more than 15 years old, more than that at this point, based on an old Irish legend, and you've brought it into the modern age with really cool templating and effects that make all of it work. I'm floored. I'm giving it a 5 on awesomeness. This is wild.
Yes.
So, all in all, that means this is a 16? Do I have that? Am I counting that right? Yeah, 16 on the Nova scale for the Kuh Hulen support. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Warthog.
Yes. Now, go listen to the song, The Tale of Kuh Hulen by Miracle of Sound.
Do it. Right now.
It's 7 minutes long, but it gave me everything for this archetype.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is that if you listen to all of the final boss themes of Pizza Tower, that's 9 minutes. So if you've sat through that, you can do 7 minutes for The Legend of Kuh Hulen.
Yes.
All right, any parting words before we move on to our next guest?
I might have made a mistake. I don't know what to show next time.
Well, hopefully you have about 3 weeks to figure it out. And if you haven't slain enough creatures to craft a new one, that's what the instance dungeons are for.
Okay, what are you referencing?
That's just some random MMO jargon.
Ah,
All right. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.
bye-bye.
Alrighty. Fun time. Fun time. That was really cool. I like that. I'm going to take a bit of a break here. I need to double check my visual. I feel like it's desynced again. So 1 second while I futz around with this. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, there we go. And I look a little less like I'm in a dungeon. There we go. Okay, I feel better about that one. You referenced Bloodborne. Do those... I didn't say chalice dungeons. I said instanced dungeons. White. That's me. The whitest kid you know. That's a comedy reference. Okay. So I know that I have Beluga Masta next on my personal list, but Pillock, I know is in a different time zone, so Beluga Masta, if I might have, if we can get Pillock on here if he's available, is that okay? The sweet blood, it sings to me. It's enough to make a man sick. I love blood echoes. Ooh, they make me stronger. Good. Alrighty. Pillock, are you here? Testing. I love Father Gascoigne. Yeah, Gascoigne Father Gascoigne is my favorite prediction princess monster in the entire archetype. I'm ready to go. Okay, let's go ahead and cover Pillock's here real quick so that we can send him on his way. Guesscom, let me go ahead and get... And I believe these are not his. These are not his. These are someone else's. DM'd mine. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right. Babading. Babadooey. Here we go. Got it.
Oh, no longer deafened. There we go.
Haha, that'll do it.
Yeah, also, did I just see Kuh Hulen support? That's based.
Warthog Crusader made Kuh Hulen support.
That's pretty sick. Like, following on from the Heracles stuff I did last month.
Yeah, we're all just putting in stuff from ancient mythologies, and I am 100% here for it. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Hey, if we get one more, we have a thematic deck build pack.
If that happens, I'm gonna need fan art of like me summoning the other ones like Persona style.
Okay, fair enough.
Good job, Nova. We get Moby in like the little Morgana outfit. It'll be fantastic.
Can he turn into a minivan?
Not yet, but I haven't pushed it. Oh, in fact, he heard me call him. Now he's over here.
Oh, okay. Hello, Moby. You're here to disrupt my stuff again. Yes, you do see Gizmeck, Beluga. Like, I find him a lot better at making legacy support because I don't have to cook the infrastructure myself. It's already pre-packaged with legacy support. Oh, hello. You appear to have an orbital platform announcement. Go ahead and do that first.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. Dynan Zenikai paid 2,000 channel points for this announcement. We're happy to announce that the orbital platform is celebrating Bloodborne month. That's right. While we're here celebrating our lived experiences outside of the cishet mindset, we're also absorbing the blood that runs through the streets of this hunter's nightmare. Good stuff.
As a cishet man, I feel very attacked.
Yeah, no Bloodborne for you.
Oh no. Anyway.
Yeah. So, you have brought friends of the desk bots, the Gizmecks, today.
Yes, because as you might know, I edit for my partner Underdog Jess some Yu-Gi-Oh 101s, and one of my finest works, deck building wise, was Gizmeck. That thing was a work of art, if I say so myself. Shameless plug, by the way. I'll probably link it in the description after we're done here.
Yeah.
But, But one thing I struggled with was extra deck plays because, as you know, every Gizmeck we already have is a different level. So it's not going to work with Exceeds and Synchros by default. And Links, they don't have defense points, so they're not going to play nice. So what does that leave left of? Sorry, that was a bad syntax. What does that leave us with? Fusion. There you go. So we've got some fusions here. Let's start with the first one here, which is Ultra Gizmeck, Nue, the Mysterious Malicious Monstrosity. Level 11, and it's also dark because we only have one dark in Orochi, and there's also a fire one later, which is to go with Kaku, but...
Dear man.
Dear man, yes. But anyway, the first one is a Nue, and this is based on the Nue of Japanese mythology, which is, appropriately with it being a fusion, it's often referred to as a Japanese chimera.
Yeah, I remember it from, we already talked about Persona, the Persona version where it's like the weird like lion cat thing. It's like
Yes. But anyway, this takes two machine monsters with equal attack and defense, aka Gizmecks. Let's just say that from here on out. And you got to fusion summon it first, or you can just special summon it from your extra deck by banishing the above monsters you control face down, even if they're Gizmecks or not. So like Despots will do it, the machine Valance can do it as well. And this card cannot. Okay, it just says this card cannot attack the summon as summoned from your extra deck. Ideally, it would be if you used it from the alternative summoning condition, but I just couldn't wrap my head around the problem-solving card text for that. So I decided, you know what, you can't attack with it no matter what if you summon it. First turn.
But the idea was to be if you fusion summoned it, you don't get to attack. If you use the alternate version, you could attack with it.
Other way round.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't figure it out for some reason. My brain is small and dumb. Anyway. But anyway, it has a similar effect to Cheng Ying, Big Chengus, if you prefer.
I love Big Chengus.
Yep, where all monsters your opponent controls lose attack equal to the number of face-down banished cards you control times 100.
Mm-hmm.
And if special summoned, you add one machine monster with equal attack and defense from your deck to your hand. Gizmeck or otherwise. And that's a hard once per turn, for very good reason. Such as like this, which are, in worse archetypes, are limited for very good reason, or they have been before. I was about to say engage, but that's not worse than Gizmeck. Please do not let me say that ever again.
Yeah, if there was ever a more apples to oranges comparison, it's definitely Sky Strikers and Gizmecks.
Yeah, please disregard what I just said. Alright, no, next card. Ultra Gizmeck, Kotobuki the Auspicious Ascended Apex. Man, that is difficult to come up with. I gotta give them credit for this. And, also, they also dropped the ball on Yatta, though, and, like...
Yeah, how you sons of guns, how dare you.
The Gleaming Vanguard. I could do better than that.
Okay. Yeah, the gorgeous Gleaming Guardian. Get it together.
Gorgeous Gleaming Guardian, that's a good one, actually. Otherwise, there's a joke, courtesy of my partner, Jess. What's the policy on naughty words on this stream?
Oh, go hand. I mean, no slurs, obviously, but you know.
No slurs, obviously not. Gizmeck Yatta, the squawky, shouty shit.
Yeah. I dig.
Yes.
I dig.
Anyway, Kotobuki. This takes 3 Gizmeck monsters or more, and it must first be fusion summoned. We have a fusion spell down the line. We'll get to that bit. But when it's summoned, all of your face-down banished cards go back into your deck. So you're not living on the edge all the time with Orochi just shredding a quarter of your deck every time you use it.
All right.
For every card you can put back this way, its original attack and defense become equal to that times 300. Mm-hmm. And it starts with unknown in both attack and defense. I believe that still qualifies it as a Gizmeck, doesn't it?
If it checks the monster in the extra deck, I don't think it does because question marks stats don't count as like anything in private information zones, which is why you can't search those things with things like Sangan. But
Engrave is more important because sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but Engrave is more important because if you can bring it back with Taniguku, then that's all that matters.
Oh, that's a good question because it might count as 0 in the graveyard. That's territory that I'm not familiar with actually.
Well, let's put it on the back burner for now. Yeah, it's a custom card. It's not going to impact us in the game at all.
We'll operate under the assumption that it does.
Right. Anyway, the last effect, I believe, it is. Oh no, excuse me. There's one more after that, but I don't know my own customs. Go me.
Oh.
Next, we have a quick effect where you can target one of your opponent's monsters, obviously face up. You reveal a machine monster with attack equal to its own defense from your deck with the same attribute as that targeted monster, and then you banish both face down.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's incredibly flexible in Gizmeck, but you kind of, depending on what else you run it in, like say if you run it in Valence, you can only get rid of fire. If you run it in like Earth Machine, you can only get rid of Earth, or same with Despots, obviously. So you get some utility in your if you just take it in another machine deck, but it shines the most in Gizmeck.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and if it leaves the field thanks to your opponent being a little unmentionable, let's just say that. Being a little prick, I'll just say that. Then you can special summon a banished face down machine monster with equal attack and defense as usual. So it floats. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, so we banish a whole bunch of cards with things like the field spell, with Pot of Extravagance, Desires, all that kind of stuff.
I just want to say, actually, do not run a Pot of Desires in Gizmeck. It is way too dangerous.
Noted.
Because you're in too much danger of decking out that way. Although it does make Zeroboros terrifying.
Uh-huh.
Just summon a Orochi under Zeroboros and kiss the field goodbye, basically.
Goodbye.
It's very funny.
So you banish a whole bunch of cards, get all the value out of this. Fusion summon Kotobuki, get all that back into your deck, hopefully make a 3,000 giant monster, and then when it goes away, you summon back one of the Gizmecks you've banished as part of its removal effect once this goes to the graveyard.
Yes, it kind of cycles, effectively. If you choose Orochi, because, let's be real, your opponent's going to be playing Dark at some point.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. And as for Kotobuki itself, it's a yokai in Japanese mythology. And get this, it is a chimera that has the parts of the following creatures of the Chinese zodiac. Head of a rat, ears of a rabbit, horns of an ox, comb of a rooster, beard of a goat, neck of a dragon, mane of a horse, shoulders of a tiger, arms of a monkey, the back of the boar, the hind legs of a dog, and the tail of a snake.
Wait, so it literally is the entire zodiac?
Well, the goat isn't in it, but I think... Oh, actually, no. I'm thinking of Jackie Chan Adventures. Please ignore me.
Oh, we stand Jackie Chan Adventure here on the Orbital platform.
But anyway, I talked about only being able to fusion summon it. So, I mean, it's not dark, so Overload Fusion won't do it for you. So how do we get into it, other than Polymerization or Power Bond, if you want to be really spicy? But Intersection of the Gizmeck Legend, the last card I have. Legends, plural. And when you activate this, you add one Gizmeck card from your deck to your hand other than another copy of itself. And then after you do that, you can flip all of your face-up banished machine monsters with its equal attack and defense face down. Because the lower level Gizmecks especially, like Inaba, Naganaki, Taniguku, and... God, what was the last one called? I have a copy on my desk. Give me a second. The name escapes me. Arakami, that was it. Yeah, they all banish themselves face up, which doesn't really play great with Gizmeck itself. But with that, you just get them face down again, so Naganaki can scoop them right back up. Oh, Jess is in the chat. Nice effects, bro.
Hi, Jess.
He says hi. Okay. Anyway. And if it would be banished face down by the Sacred Scrolls of the Gizmeck Legend, you send it to the grave instead. So that way, you just don't lose it if you just end up revealing it off the top. And also, speaking of Sacred Scrolls, it's not searchable. Anyway in the archetype, so this fixes that problem. But we're not absolutely gagging for a searcher for Sacred Scrolls because it's not essential, unlike another archetype like Element Sabers, where if you don't get to the palace, you're screwed. But
you ain't doing anything without that real estate.
Yeah, but you need it. This lets you get it effectively. And you banish it from the grave to fusion summon one machine fusion monster, not just Kotobuki or Nue, but you fusion summon any machine fusion monster with equal attack and defense, so you can summon Overdragon if you're feeling spicy. And yep, and then you banish it all face down instead, the materials from the hand field or the grave, and you can only do that once per turn and only activate it once. So yeah, fun times. Let Gizmeck have their flowers, basically.
Yeah, I do like being able to search just like on top of getting any Gizmeck monster you want, you can just get that just real sweet field spell with intersection, and then you can start gambling.
Yeah, Conditional Mystic Mine is really funny.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, side note, I was very upset that they translated it to Sacred Scrolls of the Gizmeck Legend because I spent like a week when we did Gizmeck Explained figuring out how to pronounce the field spell.
I mean, Sacred Scrolls just, I think it just sounds cooler, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's better for everyone else and like it aesthetically works, but it's bad for me in particular. What the hell?
Uh, yeah, bad for everybody. Just like, uh, okay, you have a love-hate relationship with Sacred Scrolls of the Gizmeck Legend.
Absolutely.
Okay. And now, because while it's on my mind, let me just get into the Twitch real quick. I'm going to link Gizmeck 101. This is an outdated deck. It did have Hulk in it for a second to summon not, what was it called? It's not an Auroradon combo, I promise. Instead, how about Stardust Warrior? You'll
Huh.
see.
You'll need to link it to me in the Discord. The chat is going to reject you.
Oh, my apologies. Let me just kill it if you need to.
I need to start VIP. I need to VIP you. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. I'm a fraud.
Fair enough. Yes, and Jess has a very good point there. Anyway, should we Nova score these things? Let's see if I can swing higher than 16 for a change.
Gizmeck is such an undersupported and underappreciated archetype. I wish Konami would support it more. True. They need to canonize the Deskbot Gizmeck connection.
Orochi needs therapy. Get 4 in here.
Okay, so like I know you're trying to avoid the 16. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. Yes. Show me where the orcas touch you.
Come on.
God damn it! I'm so sorry.
Alrighty. So now you were trying to avoid 16, but you've been so consistent so far.
I'm just swing higher. I mean, it's not a bad score. Like,
I might just give you a 16 just for the fun of it. It's just a meme at this point.
You little. Okay.
Alrighty, so novelty. This is Gizmeck support, so we are doing a it's based on another archetype. That being said, it's Gizmeck's, an archetype that has been conditionally used in certain decks, with things like Orochi, but itself hasn't seen the light of day as a pure archetype. So I feel like out of all the archetypes you could make legacy support for, Gizmeck is one of the ones that most needs the attention. So we're giving it a 4 in novelty.
Okay, not bad going. Deserve a 10 in everything. Oh, 0. Thanks, Jess. I love you too.
Yeah, double the possible score on all of them. You know what? If anyone deserves it, it's you.
Fun fact, I was actually torn between doing this with Legacy and Yang Zing, but honestly, I left all my Yang Zing notes at home. Not at home, at day job, so...
Well, if you're around next month, Yang
sure I will
Zing
be.
have become incredibly relevant.
Justice for Dong Lord.
Okay,
You got justice.
fun fact for everyone in chat. Did you know that Yang Zing was voted to be the next patron episode, but I couldn't get it out because Emily was busy during con weekend, so I couldn't get it out in time, but it's fully scripted. So all of that is done, and then Dong Lord happened. So I have to rewrite that entire section.
Oh my god, Emily's a prophet!
It's going to be hilarious.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Oh god.
objectivity.
How about Yang Zing cards that don't miss the timing? Yeah, that's a given. Don't
Yeah,
have to
all of
remind
them
me.
except Dong Lord. They skipped it.
That's why you got banned, not dinos.
Alrighty, so objectivity. Are the cards balanced? Are they formatted properly? Our power level here, I wouldn't call them busted. Intersection is a great enabler, great consistency tool. Gives us a fusion way to get into Nue and Kotobuki. Nue and Kotobuki are both fairly strong and cards that I would trust with an end board with my life.
Well, Nue doesn't interact at all with your opponent. Kotobuki does, but depends on what your opponent's running, obviously.
Yeah.
Dongle with Yangle Zangle. What the heck?
Dude, I love dongling the Yangles angles. The problem-solving card text is where we're going to run into because I'm not sure how question mark attack and defense are treated in the graveyard. What what did we have that intersected with that? Do we have like there's like some
Uh,
revival cards, right?
well, to be honest, in the extra deck, none of the Gizmeck cards actually care about private information zones. Because like none of the main deck ones have unknown attack and defense, so you don't actually need to worry about that. But so, question actually.
Yeah.
Might have hit a snag here. Oops. Never mind. Although, if oh wait, ignore me. I was just thinking of something else. You mentioned Chimera Takeover Dragon is an honorary Gizmeck in Gizmeck Explained. But I guess if it's coming out of the extra deck, it doesn't matter while it's in said extra deck.
Chimera Tech over Dragon.
Disappointed the big boss doesn't get the 50 treatment.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, permission to new idea. Permission to make edits.
No.
Or is that cheating? Denied. Got it.
Denied. Otherwise, we'll spend like 10 minutes extra on every review getting all that stuff ironed out.
True. Yes.
I'll just go ahead on the record and just ignore that that's an issue right now because I don't have the knowledge to determine one way or the other. And Twitch chat, I love all of you, but you're not exactly batting 1,000 when it comes to your.
Double! You come to save the day. Thank you very much.
Say again.
Double has come to save the day in the chat. We can summon Cyber Darkness apparently. Oh, never mind. I was thinking of something else. Ignore me. It can be
Cyber Darkness Dragon. Yeah, that's pretty funny. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So for objectivity, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5.
Ah, sweet.
So, versatility. Technically, as both me and Pillock have mentioned over and over again, this works not just with Gizmeck, but with our good Deskbot buddies, and a smattering of other machine monsters.
Like half of King Julian's deck. I like to move it, and all that.
God.
That joke will never get old.
No, I mean, we're constantly moving, so when would it ever stop?
Yes.
So it also works in a weird way with a bunch of other banishing face down synergies. I know it's dangerous to run Pot of Avarice, but...
You mean Desires?
Yeah, Desires. I guess it would also be dangerous with Avarice because you're not exactly getting the targets for it.
To be fair, this would make it a bit safer.
So it's not like you're not splashing this into everything, in ways that like Orochi itself would.
Or to a lesser extent, Makami, because one of my favorite texts with that is Astral Karibo.
Which one is Makami again?
I was level 6 Wolfie. When normal summoned, you discard a card, get any monster with equal attack and defense. Astral Karibo has 100 attack and defense, so you just like reveal a level 6 number, summon it. I mean, you just like make force focus immediately afterwards.
Yeah, camera time. Let's go.
Yeah, Mom, get the camera.
Get the camera. I'm about to defeat Brandon.
God damn it.
I'll give it a 3 on versatility because of all the funny little extra things that you can do with the Gizmecks in general, and what these allow you to do too.
Yeah.
And awesomeness, buddy, you know, I'm giving it a 5. It's Gizmecks. They're so cool. They're such like an interesting, like how they differentiate themselves. They have that weird monarch, like how their stats determine stuff. They play around with a bunch of interesting, weird mechanics. And these ones lean into that really, really well. So I super enjoy it. So, with that being said, you have finally broken the 16 curse. You have made it to 17. Pillock, how do you feel?
Is it a blessing or a curse? It's a blurse. Got it.
It's a blurse. Incredible. All right,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for stopping by and showing off all these cards. Do you have any parting words for the audience?
Beep beep lettuce.
All right, there
Nothing
we
else
go.
comes to mind.
Beep lettuce, folks.
Yes. That's just those are words from Gizmeck Inaba, the hopping hair of Hakuto, I believe.
I do love these delicious leafy greens.
Hang on. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. Right then, I'll probably be going then.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Pillick. Have yourself a good night, okay?
There ya. Bye.
Alrighty, that was fun. Gizmecks are cool. Alright, let's go ahead and mark that off. Okay, that leaves us. Our next person is Beluga Master, but first let me go ahead and do some orbital platform requests here. We got a couple of those piling up. Let's get those taken care of before we move on to our next batch o' cards. Yep. We have two of them. They are both orbital platform announcements. First up, Shauna Hart 33 paid 2,000 channel points. These custom cards are Deskbot approved. That is true. They have the equal attack and defense, and also they hang out and play Scrabble on the weekends. And then one more from Chibi Gohan, paid 2,000 channel points. Please send your thoughts and prayers to Chibi Gohan's wife for a safe recovery. Oh my goodness, Chibi Gohan, I hope that she does okay. I'm sorry that she ended up in the hospital, but I hope all of the vibes help with the speedy recovery. Okay, I can't spend any of my orbital platform points. I think it might be bugged for me. We might have reached the cap. I'm not sure. When is the fated crossover between Danglong and the Tin Dangler? The Ting Danglongler. Back and managed to finish making chapter 13 of the Cute Maiden lore. Ooh! That's a lot of lore. That's a significant amount of lore. Alrighty. Would you rather face Dark World's Suship or Albaz? I'd rather take Suship because in a rough spot I can just eat the Suships. Alrighty, let's see. Beluga Master should be up next. Alrighty, we have the next chapter of the iconic texts. Let's go ahead and head over to the voice chat and get this started. Hello, Beluga. How's it going?
Oh, I'm good.
How's life been going since last we talked about your iconic texts?
Something's up with my Discord at the moment.
Ooh. That's not very good.
I can only hear you through the stream.
Weird. Okay, let's go. I'm going to go ahead and move up to guest comms. I see that we're just in patron VC. I'm going to go ahead and move into guest comms, and then we'll see if we can get that audio snaggle figured out. All right, how do I sound now?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, now it's going through my speakers.
Huh. Intriguing.
Alright, we can just work with this.
Alrighty. So, to my understanding, this is now part 3 of 3 of the legendary, iconic line of cards. Is that correct?
Yes, and I will say the first one up is a completely new effect for the same field spell. Because
so we've eroded the field spell.
Completely and utterly.
Oh, alrighty. Yeah, because I was rereading through this, and that was like just any card you get to shuffle back to draw 2. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that gets changed here. Do you have any words or anything you want to tell the audience before we get started?
Non sequitur. Like, completely unrelated.
Oh, yeah?
So as we were doing this, a friend of mine sent me a tweet about some people trying to replace Pride Month with Dinosaur Month. And to that, I have to say, let me write a story about a gay dinosaur. Screw the antis.
Yeah, what is mutually exclusive about Pride Month and dinosaurs?
Exactly.
Give me the lesbian Pachycephalos. So with that non sequitur aside, is there anything else that you want to talk about, or are we ready to go into the cards?
There's a lot less cards here than I thought there would be. I'll say that. I did not quite count my cards all that well.
Well, that's good. If we were in Vegas, I'd have to dock you. So, card counting, not counting your cards is good in this case. But, alrighty. So, we have our errata for Library of the Iconic Texts, a field spell. If you only control monsters with a level, you can select a card from your graveyard or face up in the extra deck and shuffle that card into the deck, and if you do, draw 2. If all monsters you control have unique names, you can target one card your opponent controls and shuffle it into their deck. Wow. So is that second effect part of the first one?
They're supposed to be separate effects.
Okay, so you have 2 activated abilities. I do like how the first one now requires you to have monsters with levels as opposed to restricting what you can summon afterwards, because now you need to have some kind of setup. It is still Pot of Greed every turn, which I think is just fantastic. And then now we've also added, not Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, but just some kind of shuffling effect. And, if it's good enough for Peril Reno, it's good enough for me.
Yeah. The idea was the field spell was the only thing that put you under a lock. So instead of giving you this really weird restriction, I thought I'd change the card to be something to reward you to play the deck how it was intended.
That makes sense. And, not to be a broken record here, but Tearlaments also decided they weren't going to put any restrictions on their stuff, and that ended up being the most skillful format of all time. Now that I've ruined all the comments sections, let's move on to Iconic Defiance. A quick play spell, and when that's activated, when your iconic monster would leave the field by an opponent's card effect, you negate the effect and destroy that card. Oh, okay. So we're just saying no to being used as fusion material, being destroyed, being bounced, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Alrighty. Next up is Iconic Spine of the Storm. Ooh, alright. A level 2 wind attribute beast pendulum tuner monster with a scale of 12. As a pendulum spell, while you control an iconic monster, you can activate this effect. You can normal summon an additional iconic monster. And as a monster, if this card is used as synchro material, you can destroy a spell or trap card on the field. Alright. Now, when it says normal summon an additional iconic monster, was that supposed to be like Pendulum Monster?
No, I just brain farted and wrote down monster twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I've been there. I've had to go through some scripts and be all like, what did I think I was doing here? But yeah, just normal summon of any iconic monster. Pretty sick. Disciple of the Iconic Spine is a level 3 wind attribute beast pendulum monster with a scale of 1. As a pendulum spell, iconic synchro monsters you control deal piercing battle damage. Sweet. As a monster, if you summon a monster with a different attribute from this card, you can put this card into your hand. You can put this card in your hand into the extra deck face up, then set an iconic trap card directly from your deck. And the trap card set by this effect can be activated this turn. Okay. So any non-wind, just monster. It doesn't say iconic. We just get to put a trap card into rotation.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and the last new one is Reader of the Iconic Texts, a level 5 Earth attribute warrior tuner pendulum monster with a scale of 1. If an iconic monster is summoned, put this card to the bottom of the deck and draw a card as a pendulum spell. Neat. As a monster, when this card is normal or special summoned, for the remainder of the turn, all iconic monsters get an additional amount of attack equal to the highest active pendulum scale times 100. So if you have one of your 12 scales, they're all just gaining 1200 attack this turn.
Exactly.
Sick. Alrighty. So I know that we are basing the iconics off of like a cycle of the creature, the statue, and like the follower. What were the ideas for these ones?
So reader of the iconic text specifically is the counter is the main deck monster counterpart to Achilles, and the object of worship is, because he is the reader, it is the library itself.
Oh, all right.
And then it's like I have the Manticore is like, what's one of the most iconic parts of the Manticore? It's their spines. So you have the Disciple of the Spine and the Spine of the Storm.
Oh, okay. So not like a biological, like where your nervous system spine is, but like tail spines, like porcupines.
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, I dig. Okay. Spine of the Storm. So we've added a bit of a draw engine. We've added an attack boost for all of our iconics. A way to get our trap cards into play immediately. Scrolling up here, we have Resolution and Occurrence. Are there any other trap cards I'm missing? It doesn't look like it.
No, those are the only two traps.
So for a update for the audience, for those who didn't make it last time, Resolution sends a card from your face-up extra deck to the graveyard, and all cards you control gain that card's pendulum scale times 100 as attack power. So big boost. And Occurrence is a continuous trap card. When this card is activated, you can shuffle a face-up card in your extra deck into your main deck, then, or I guess into the deck, so it can be back into the extra deck if it's an extra deck monster. Then summon an iconic monster from your deck in defense position, and once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned from their hand, you can set a pendulum monster from your deck or face-up extra deck to your pendulum zone. Okay, cool. So it's either an attack boost or a way to set up your scales immediately.
That is kind of the intention.
Sick. All right. I dig. Alrighty. Are there any other interactions with these new cards that they allow that I'm missing out on?
With so where is it? With Iconoclasm from last month. I specified level 5 because this was the first card I wrote out for the archetype. And I was like, from the beginning, I intended to have a level 5 tuner to just battle ball anything on your opponent's field with.
Yeah.
So, from there, you do need at least two separate attributes of tuners in play, and two separate attributes of non-tuners in play. So you can't just, while you can with an ideal hand, just go straight into the level 9 Hydra with its 5k beat stick shenanigans. It is exceedingly difficult.
Yeah, you need to make sure that you're like, if you're using the Iconoclasm thing, you couldn't just hit a level 4 Earth monster your opponent has. It has to be of a different, like, it has to be dark, light, one of those other ones. Otherwise, you ain't making Hydra.
And if you're going first, you ain't gonna be able to battle ball anything with Iconoclasm.
Man, what is it with Konami and keeping us from balling? Let us ball.
But beyond that, with this particular batch of cards, the idea was just to kind of round things off, right? Give some nice, just neat utility effects that just kind of just assist in getting things going, whether you're going first or second.
Yeah, round things off. Almost like some kind of ball, if you will.
Pun not intended. I'm
Yeah,
not I am not a pun master.
that's why everyone comes to me. That's the appeal of the channel. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm digging the additions here. Is it time to give what might be the final Nova scale of the Iconics?
Sure.
Alrighty, let's reset the scales. All right, so novelty. We are. Hey, Moby, how's it going? Uh-oh, Moby's on the move. Okay. He's left. I can now put the keyboard back on the table. So, novelty. We have a big pendulum archetype meant to do a lot of big synchro shenanigans based on mythological creatures and figures from times long past. It makes big creatures, but it's not doing the big pendulum. I make a million negates. This is more about making a whole bunch of gigantic monsters that will just beat face and then maybe have some other utility effects. Am I remembering this correctly?
That is the general game plan.
All right. For this, I'm gonna go ahead and give novelty a 4. Really cool. Goes counter to a lot of pendulum playstyles. I dig it. We're giving it a 4. Objectivity. For these cards that were added in here, we're adding the additional normal summon. We're getting some draw power here. We now have the the based tuner to help make our big synchros using our Battle Ball Iconoclasm effect. We have the addition of playing our trap cards, which are strong, but not oppressively strong, I believe. And insofar as our problem-solving card text, I think there's a couple of things we need to polish up here, but it's largely solid, so I'm going to give it a 4 on objectivity as well.
Mm-hmm.
Versatility. We've removed the restriction on library, so now we can technically just play it with anything. We can just summon Xyz.
Part of the reason why I changed library, and this was something I recognized mentioned last month, was you could just play this deck without library and not have to suffer a restriction anyway, because it's the only card with a restriction.
Yeah, so if you would want them to just play the field spell, you just take out that issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that raises its versatility now, because now you could just play all of them and not have to worry about not being able to splash it in with those pendulum strategies, because you're already giving some absolutely ridiculous scales here without any downsides. I mean, I'm very sorry for all those level 1 pendulum monsters out there who are missing out, but I guess you're just going to have to sit on the sidelines for this one. It's hard not to give this a 5. I mean, library, for all intents and purposes, is a repeatable pot of greed, because library doesn't say on activation. We've added a shuffle that doesn't check for unique iconic names, just names in general. So I can't think of a deck that's using iconics and isn't also adding this field spell to just give you draw and removal options. So I think it has to be a 5.
I also just realized I forgot to add once per turn on that card. I'll have to do that after we're done.
Okay, you know what? I have to put objectivity down to 2 now, because yeah, as written, that's bonk. Okay, I will now draw my whole deck, and I will remove all of your cards. Thank you very much. We're done here.
Oh no.
Awesomeness. But you know, I'm giving it a 5 on awesomeness though, because the conceit is cool. The things that they do are cool. I look at these and I get excited about them, so I got to give it a 5.
Hmm.
Um, I realize I'm being too generous on the objectivity. I do need to give it a 1 because, yeah, it literally does just win you the game once you get a single monster on board that has a level. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll do that. But that being said, we're still looking at a 15 on the Nova scale, a very respectable score for this archetype. Thank you so much for sharing these with us over the past few months. These are really cool.
Yeah. And just to kind of end things off, as a small preview of what I'm going to be bringing next month
Oh,
is we're summoning a bunch of tokens in the battle phase.
oh, oh. Is it generator time?
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing March of the Tokens. Thank you again so much. Any final words to the audience before we move on to our next guest?
Stay awesome, guys.
All right. Take care. Alrighty. Sick nasty. Sick nasty. Did I miss anything text-wise? Any questions? I don't think I did. Okay. That about takes us to the last set of cards for today from Marluxia is a Girl. And I believe Marluxia put down that they did not want to present. Is that still the case, Marluxia? Just want to make sure before I start steamrolling through here. Let's go ahead and get this all set up here. Baba, Baba Zing, Baba Zoo, Baba Zay. Wah. Okay. Fix this. Get that cable out of the way. Alrighty. So, for the last of Sunday's custom card review, before we take a break until Saturday, we have Marluxia's what looks like Visas Starfrost support, another wave of it, like last month's updates of all of the heart monsters. I was funneling the output into my Yeti mic. Okay, yeah, that would do a few things. But I'm sure my lore dump will help. Oh, yeah. You have this here, but you also have some stuff on Discord. Let me go ahead and get that pulled up here. Okay. Let's see if we need to read any of this stuff. Okay, we'll talk about these ones as they come up. So let's go ahead and start off by covering Etherom Almheart, a level 4 Wind Warrior monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense. I wonder why that stat line is there. This card's name becomes Visas Starfrost while in the hand or grave. If this card is normal or special summoned, add an Etherom card from your deck to your hand, and if you do, you can reveal 3 Etherom cards from your deck and place them on the top of your deck in any order. Oh, we have top deck shenanigans going on now. All right, take it easy, Slash. Thank you for stopping by. We're not doing non-patron reviews here, but there is a section on the Discord where you can share your custom stuff as much as you want. So if you just want to show it to the rest of the community, please feel free to stop by and post it over there. All right. All right, next up is Etherom Servant, a level 2 wind psychic monster with 1000 attack and 0 defense. During either player's turn, if you control a face-up Etherom monster or Visas Starfrost, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect as a quick effect, you can ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand using this card as the entire requirements. You cannot special summon monsters from the extract when you activate any effects of this card. Okay, so we've found the ritual Visas archetype. Draw until you have 3. Immediately bonkers, I'm sure, because you can just like do a whole bunch of what is it? The draw card that Draco uses. What am I thinking? Card of Demise Card of Demise, a whole bunch of Demise stuff. Now, this thankfully does have the restriction where you cannot special summon from the extra when you activate any of their effects, so you can't just splash it in anything. But being able to stack 3 Etherom cards on top of your deck and then drawing into all 3 of them, I'm sure is going to cause some fantastic interactions. Oh, I have lore stuff I have to read out here. One second. So, for Etherom Almheart. Almheart is very similar to Visas. However, he's colored in purple with gold highlights. The ruler of the planet, he promotes art and discovery over conquest. As such, the land prospers with a renaissance of creativity. His emotion is pride. Alright? And Servant is a catch-all for all of the main majority of the masses on this planet. They would look young and would be wearing very baggy old clothes. Despite their lack of grace and etiquette, they are treated well by the higher class. Alright. Let's go ahead and talk about Etherom Equestrian, a level 6 wind ritual psychic monster with 2500 attack and 0 defense. You can ritual summon this card using an Etherom card. When this card is ritual summoned, excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if there are any Etherom monsters amongst them, face-up monsters your opponent controls lose attack and defense equal to the number of revealed monsters times 500. Then shuffle all the revealed cards back into the deck. Once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck, and if it is an Etherom card, you can target 1 card on the field and shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, add the excavated card to your hand. Alright, so we have 2 different ways that we can take advantage of Almheart's deck stacking. We can either do a pretty big debuff, being at minimum 1500 if you stack 3 Ethereum monsters on top of your deck, but could go as high as 2500 if you hit 5 monsters. It doesn't say Ethereum monsters for the debuff, so as long as you're playing a Monster Mash deck, you could get a pretty big debuff. Equestrian is the counter to Almheart. He's a stone horse that is part of the wildlife of the planet, as well as Almheart's price a joy, a gift from when he was very young. But it's as if both are connected in some deeper way. Whoa. Just made Nero Claudius as a Visas clone. I love it. Alright, next up is Etherom Honor Heart, a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wind ritual psychic monster with 4000 attack, 2000 defense. You can ritual summon this card using an Etherom card. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Ritual summon this card from your hand by shuffling Etherom monsters or Visas Starfrost from your hand, field, or grave into the deck, whose total levels equal or exceed 10, including at least 1 monster on the field. This card's name becomes Visas Starfrost while face up on the field. Cannot be targeted by card effects except by Etherom cards and cards that mention Visas Starfrost. You can reveal this card in your hand to add an Etherom card from your deck to your hand, and then place 1 card from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck. During the main phase, you can shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. Holy Toledo. Honor Heart is the combination form of Almheart and Equestrian, being the upgraded form of both. He is wearing full Roman armor, his body covered in stone as he is fused with the body of Equestrian, looking like an armored centaur. He took this form to combat the threat of Vita Carantha. Okay, alright. So, a couple of things that I'm noticing here. It's named Visas Starfrost, so I guess that's taking after the fact that the main version does as well, but because of the lore, it's not necessarily Visas Starfrost. It does run counter to the established version of things where the extra deck versions of them have 3000 attack and defense as like a rule, except like Scareclaw because they don't have a defense stat. It does keep a combined 6000 across the 2 stats, so maybe that's what they were going for. But from a lore perspective, it's a little iffy. The level 10 is also... I guess it's not really consistent across all of them because I think... Yeah, the level doesn't really matter because Rise Heart is 7, Manadum is... I think Manadum is 10. Or, Manadium is 10. So this is also 10. So there's that. And Scareclaw. Oh no, yeah, I think we mentioned Scareclaw just now. Mechanically, it takes 10. It can ritual summon itself, which is already just a huge plus. It takes at least one monster on the field, so you can't just jam everything from your hand. 10 levels is a little easier to stomach if you use Visas, but that's not too bad. Has targeting protection except for things that like would generally benefit from it. I think the colorless boundless world or something still works on it. But you know, if anyone's playing that, then they're on a whole different level. It searches you cards while in the hand, and it's a free quick effect shuffle, which is basically just the same as a Rise Heart. It's just free removal that goes someplace you're generally not going to get it. This is a pretty strong card. Absolutely huge chunkus. Etherom Sculpting is a ritual spell card. You can only be used to ritual summon any Etherom ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. Or, if you control a face-up field spell, you can tribute an Etherom monster from your hand or field instead. Then you can apply the following effect. Excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the level of the ritual summoned monster. Then shuffle cards your opponent controls up into the deck up to the number of revealed Etherom cards. Holy spit. So what's the play here? It says only one Etherom card monster from your hand or field instead. So you can't use multiple. So you have to send an Etherom level 6 or level 10, which we don't currently have. Maybe it's meant to be one. You can tribute one Etherom monster from your hand or field as well. That would make a bit more sense, especially because we're restricted to only Etheroms. Oh, no, I guess you can just send another copy of the Ritual... I forget you can do that with Ritual, so you could just have a field spell, Ritual Summon Honor Heart, send another Honor Heart from deck to graveyard. Never mind, you're actually really spot on with that. Holy cow. Shoutouts to Vendred for the sweet tips. And then you can potentially excavate 10... and then out of however many Etheroms you reveal, you just shuffle cards. Holy maloney. That's good. The requisite field spell, Second World Destruction Isolome. When this card is activated, you can add an Etherom monster or Visa Starfrost from your deck to your hand. We knew it was going to have that. Wraith Soth do not interact. Ritual monsters and Etherom monsters you control gain 500 attack. If an Etherom monster is excavated from the top of your deck, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. So this reads basically like Peril Reno. It does all the things that it does. It gives the boost, but in a way that's flavored towards this archetype, and it gives removal in a way that's flavored towards this archetype. And Peril Reno was, limited in Master Duel for a reason. It's absolutely wild card in paper for a reason. Don't forget the lore. Oh my god, I'm skipping over all this lore. Oh my goodness. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Our planet this time, it is heavily inspired by ancient Rome with some modern twists. The peoples pride themselves in their creativity to the point of obsession. However, in this art, Honor Heart and his army are facing off against Vita Carantha and their army akin to Visas facing a Rise Heart. Sculpting reveals the main process of the Isolame people, which is combining the wildlife and people with stone to create living statues. Elmheart and Equestrian underwent this process to become Honorheart, which was necessary for the fights ahead. This advancement in technology and biology has led to prosperity around the land. And then our last card is Etherom Shattering, a counter trap card. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated while you control a ritual monster, negate the activation. Then if you have Visa Starfrost or a monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense on your field or in your graveyard, you can destroy that negated card. You can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon an Etherom monster from your grave. Okay, so we have our Omni Negate that gains a destruction effect if we have our Visas clones in rotation, and then it gets us a free Ethereal monster from our graveyard. This means we can get back properly summoned Honor Hearts or Equestrians. Now, I believe the effect The first effect of Equestrian is on Ritual Summon, which is just the debuff, but the removal effect is once per turn. Honor Heart does not have a this Ritual Summoned card can kind of deal. So we can just bring Honor Heart back with Shattering and then have a gigantic boss monster on the board. It's lore. The art of this is the defeat of Honor Heart as Vita destroys the Emperor, thus making the world become desolate due to it being drained. However, there is more to Almheart's journey than expected. The destruction of his world is not the end, for even the broken can find what is lost. Ooh. And then one final quote from our boy Almheart themselves. He took everything from me. My people, my home, my horse. He'll pay for this. Once I find Omnitara, I will get revenge on you, Vita. And then that is where the Season 2 trailer title slots in. That's pretty funky. Let's go ahead and Nova score this real quick. We've got a pretty good base of cards going on here that I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and okay, so novelty. We have a ritual archetype. The ritual archetype. This is the batch 1 of 2 to 3. Okay, well then I will judge it on what we have here, and then we'll see what gets added in the future. Okay, so novelty. So ritual archetype. It's in the Visas universe. It's a ritual deck with hand effects and several ways to cheat the rituals into play. Very strong rituals. Novelty. I think we gotta give it a 3. We're working on the established Visas canon, and also we are seeing, in hand effects like Nekroz. We are seeing ways to get the cards cheaply into play with things like incantations. We're seeing a little bit of that here. There's a lot of emphasis on stacking the deck, though. And excavating has, like, most recently it was used widely in Adamancipators. And while there's some influence here from the Adamancipators here, it just feels like we're doing more with excavating. Like, for instance, causing that debuff. Yeah, I think a 3 on novelty is fine. I kept thinking we can bump it up, but no, I think 3 on novelty is just enough. We're getting a little bit of extra stuff outside of what we would get from ritual archetypes, so I think a 3 is valid on this one. Objectivity. Is the problem solving card text on these cards good? Are they balanced? It seems okay. These cards, there are some strong things. Honor Heart is infinitely resummonable, has a huge stat line, has great removal, and searches out every other card in the theme, Illusion of Chaos style. As for problem-solving card text, I don't think we noticed anything that was wrong with the cards. I think they're all formatted pretty well. So I think we got to give it a 5 in objectivity. Versatility. Would these cards see play in other archetypes? Well, Emergency Teleport does just summon Servant out of your deck, which will then set up your free draw 3, which is absolutely fantastic. But it's not like it goes in reverse where it works with a bunch of other psychic decks. Ritual-wise, I could see this being played alongside something like Megaliths and, like was it, Incantations. There's a lot of ritual cards that all of these work with. But there's not a lot of wind archetypes I think work with this, especially because Servant's going to lock us out of extra deck usage. It's not going to allow us to play other alongside an extra deck like Drytron can. So versatility, I think this is also going to get a 3. And then awesomeness, yeah, it's Roman psychic craftsmen that use their power to make living stone organisms to fight against Vita Carantha. The ritual monster has it's basically the entire deck in a box, so you can access almost any part of it. I think it's a slam dunk design wise. I'm gonna be sad to find out what this actually becomes in the game. If Marluxia is seeing into the future, I'm gonna be very impressed here. But for now, I think this is a really cool second world representation of what we might get from the Pride versions of Visas. So I think it gets a 5 from me on awesomeness, which means that we are sitting on a sweet 16 on the Nova scale. And apparently there's more to come, so I'm looking forward to seeing what gets added into the Etheroms in the future. Marluxia's a girl, thank you ever so much for sharing these with us. And that about does it. That is everyone from today's stream. But this is not the end of the custom card review weekend. If you enjoyed what you saw here, make sure that you follow, because we're doing it for Saturday and Sunday. Tune in tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon U.S. Central. We have even more people presenting even more cards tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to having all of you there to look through them and enjoying everyone's mechanics, just the thematics behind the archetype they chose to put together. It's gonna be pretty sweet. And if you want to submit your own custom cards for review, I'm not closing the submissions, so if you have some that you want to share, make sure that you follow these ding darn links below. One of them is going to be through Patreon. That is where you will find the link to submit your custom card information. Any tier from $5 or up gets you access to it, and then you'll be a part of our reviews tomorrow or Sunday, whichever one you choose. Big thank you to JJPM for sending over their audience. If all of you stuck around, I super appreciate it, and I would encourage you to press the follow button, because that make number big and that make me happy. Thank you to all of the mods who have been here to help keep everything going. Thank you to all of my lovely, lovely patrons who help make sure I have the money to do the things around the channel that are necessary. With life getting really weird the next couple of months, all of your support means that much more to me. Thank you so much. And for the general audiences, those of you who have talked in chat or have been lurking around, thank you for stopping by. I know that middle of the day Friday, there's probably some locals or some shows or other people who are doing stuff right now, but you've chosen to spend a few hours with me talking about stuff, and that's awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm looking forward to our next Battle Nova. I'm looking forward to getting back on regular track. I'm missing the stability of normal stuff. Let's go ahead and see to whom's I can send you to. Who be streaming right now? Who be doing things? Oh, there's a lot of people going around, right? Oh, there's a lot of people who are active right now. Oh, you know what? Alexa was in chat earlier. Let's go ahead and send all of you over to Alexa Torhime. And you can all enjoy, what are they playing? They are playing, yeah, they're on Master Duel. So, how about you go watch a Yu-Gi-Oh person play some actual Yu-Gi-Oh, huh? How about that? How about this wild concept? There we go. All right. Once again, everyone, thank you all so much for stopping by. Please share all of the kindness and compassion that hopefully I've instilled in all of you in today's stream. Check back in tomorrow where we'll be doing more custom card stuff, but until then, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.